We're here at Money20 Europe in Amsterdam. And I have with me Sai from Temenos. We're going to have a conversation around AI. We're going to talk about ramifications to infrastructure, what the technology stacks look like at some banks looking to adopt your technology. So Sai, I'm really glad to be here today. I know you're dealing with jet lag and all these other things, being at such an amazing large bank. What does this event mean to you?
And still love the energy level, regardless of jet lag or not. It's one place where you get to see various aspects of the financial ecosystem in action. You get to see like banking, fintechs, got vendors like ourselves that serve into banking, got innovators, there's plenty of blockchain conversation. So it's a place where you get to see the entire ecosystem. And A, it makes you feel part of the community. And B, like you also know like where you're playing and what else is there. So such an exciting.
A little competitor analysis also.
Great team.
Yeah, a great team. I love that. Everyone's really welcoming. I've got to watch people have conversations with others that are just walking by curious about what Temenos does and the demonstration of what you guys do. And I want to share that a little bit with my community. Could you outline what it is that Temenos does?
So Temenos, we do full stack banking software, essentially all the software that bank needs to run. So core banking, ledgering service, deposits, accounts, real estate capital, products, pricing. Then we also have data hub. And then the service of a variety of banks. So it is end-to-end full stack banking, all the way from digital banking to core banking.
I mean, so many of those components that you mentioned are so bifurcated from a bank perspective. That was an afterthought. Some of these capabilities you want to launch and you like sacrifice quality and reliability to get speed to market. When it comes to the partners, the clients that you guys serve, what does it mean to have, that modernization, thinking about the technology stack and what's required to fully integrate or tap into what Temenos has to offer?
So even before we get to what Temenos has to offer, think about what the banks are trying to get to. They want the cheapest cost basis for running their existing platform. And they want to spend most of their energy on innovation and growth. That's what they're trying to do. So when they look at vendors like Temenos, the question in their heads are like, hey, do I go with the Temenos? Does it help me grow? Does it help me innovate? Does it also keep my costs boxed in? Or does it spiral out of control? There's like a big shift in customer mindset where I think like core banking was historically seen as a system of record, then you bolt on channels on top and all that stuff. Now I think there is a real way around like how do I create a system of intelligence that can power agents, that can power co-pilots, that can help me to meet and innovate with our customers. So I think there's a big shift in terms of like what modernization means for banks.
Yeah. Wow. I literally went back to the stressful moments for myself as a former, project program manager and trying to implement some of those technologies. Well, one thing that I'm wondering if you see as a trend is the fact that people are now looking at holistic offerings versus, one-off solutions.
And we have plenty of banks that fall into that bucket all that. So depending on the size of the banks, historically what's happened is a very large tier one bank that has billions of dollars of technology investment, they go for pointed solution vendors. And then some of them, they build it themselves, some they assemble. But then as we go down the pipe, there are large regional and community banks. They are increasingly heading towards how can I get more from the same vendors so they all work together. So you're not spending all that energy on integrating, like buying X from you, Y from Temenos. So if you can buy X and Y from Temenos, so you can get the payment hub, the data hub, compliance management, core banking. There's an inherent assumption, which is right, that they all work well together. I think there's also a shift towards SaaS in banking. I think that's also pushing like buying more from the same vendor because when time to market matters, the SaaS can provide that operation resilience around various products that we buy matters. So I think we're seeing an increasing trend in that direction.
Thinking about the evolution and keeping up with all these new emerging technologies and discussions around AI. How do you rationalize like what's next for Temenos and what does that like roadmap look like for kind of maintaining that cutting edge while doing what you do currently so well?
So there are three areas where we're primarily looking at like AI investments. And I'll talk a little bit about how we're leveraging AI ourselves to build faster, ship faster. But leaving that aside for a second, thinking about it from a customer products perspective, we've got three big investments. The first one is what we call the co-pilot strategy. Essentially, these are AI chatbots that show up in our products. And we've already started launching it with Temenos Copilot in Core. This really simplifies the operational aspects of the platform where you don't need to learn our software anymore. You can simply just have conversations. You can just say, hey, I want to go look at all my customers who have a checking account but don't have a savings account. That used to be a SQL query or report that you would have to download. Now it's just a conversation. Let's say you find an opportunity to upsell something for that audience. You can just have the same conversation to go build a product that you can upsell. The next area where we're investing pretty big in is AI agents. So these are discrete agents that work on like automating specific workflows of the customers. So the first agent we launched is in the financial crime mitigation space. So all it does is reduce false positives during sanction screening. Right? So when you do a sanction screening, you may flag 100 transactions, but like a good chunk of them are false positives. They were tagged incorrectly for some reason. So this used to be bots, humans involved in unblocking it. We launched our first AI agent, which is now production, and they're seeing massive results. And the secret there is we go after deterministic weaknesses, not the probabilistic ones. And then we want to go and like show value. So for us internally, don't chase the shiny object. Go chase where we see value for our customers. The third area is what we call our intelligent core. Essentially, what that means is like we have awesome products, but installing it, running it, upgrading it to solve for our customers, that's like universal in the banking industry. Whether it's from us or from one of our competitors, we're really looking at AI and leveraging AI to say, hey, how can we make upgrades much easier for our customers? Can we use Gen AI to analyze? Like if you're going from version 2020 to version 2026, what are the differences in code bases? What's the difference in configuration? What needs to get rewritten? Can we use AI to rewrite some of those things? These are manual tasks and very, very risk prone in the past. With AI, I think we're making pretty good progress.
Yeah, the first one I talked to that talks about it simply in those three buckets. I love that you mentioned internally how you're leveraging that for operational efficiencies, what I call it, and then also helping your clients achieve those operational efficiencies. From a SARS reporting perspective, I love the fact that you're not only rationalizing, analyzing, and then prioritizing, I guess, what actually gets tackled and what sequence that makes sense.
And frankly, that's been like one of the issues with AI because people are so excited and it can actually make build easier than going after every problem that they can think of. When I think internally, one of the mechanisms we have is what's called a design program. So we actually bring in a client and we work with them on a specific use case. So we can actually target an area that is a pain point for our clients, as opposed to
Oh wow, that's a different layer of thought leadership as well. You're consulting, you're advising, you're leveraging the pain points that your clients actually experiencing. That influences how you develop.
Our customers love it. We get like real use cases to go solve for. If you can, that's what it is.
Just because I've heard we support students' next generation of fintech and payments talent. One question I always get asked is around AI is it's taking jobs away. And obviously we talked about several areas where there could be some efficiencies. I remember reviewing release notes, the delta between release and to understand and articulate to the change management team what needs to be modified on our end. To your point, some of these processes can be offloaded to AI, but do you love that it creates other opportunities elsewhere that are more relevant?
100%. And listen, man, like graduating students, I'm very passionate about it because I used to be some of these things. We just onboarded our first cohort of interns in our Atlanta this week. So I'm really excited about it. But this is what I would say. So I think from an AI front, there's a lot of unbundling of your job that's happening. So like when I think about my job, I do like 10 things or 100 things. It's like some of those 100 things are better done by AI today. But I still need my judgment and taste of the other things. So now, what am I going to do with my freed up time?
Yeah.
That's up to me. If I can leverage AI to kind of go the next level or a higher order problem, I wouldn't worry about the job loss. I would be excited about like what it enables you to do. It's no different than like when you're building a team, you have awesome people. They get to take over whatever you're focused on, so you can go like solve for the next 1 year.
Yeah.
I feel like AI is doing that on steroids.
Wow.
Now, from a student perspective, for our students today, I would start making myself valuable by taking a company, taking an AI project, and showing them what I'm capable of. Because if you show up as a fresher to the domain, to the industry, to the company, to the technology, I think you get treated like a fresher. So if I was a student, I would say, okay, I'm going to go after the banking industry or the payment industry or the insurance. Let me learn as much as I can. Let me do some research reports with AI. Let me build some startup ideas. Let me get some advice from the industry experts. Now suddenly you're seen as someone who's got initiative, who's got the tools. Companies love them. So I think there is a mentality shift that needs to happen all around.
Oh, wow. I love that. To your point, it can be leveraged to help enhance the work that you're doing and make a lot of this early talent, segment a contributor to organization versus, someone that's dealing with paperwork. So I love that you're outlining that as an opportunity for students. And I really appreciate your time today.
Likewise.
Covered a lot. And thank you all for checking in and listening to Fintech Talks. We have more coming from Money 2020 Euro. I'll talk to you later.
Great talk.
Thank you.
Thank you.